This video is brought to you by Miniature Market. Thousands of board games, miniatures, and paints, discount prices at miniaturemarket.com. Hey everybody, it's your old pal Rob. Today I was sent a game from a company called WarGames. Michael Mooney and Sam Meredith and Lilith Brissett, okay, worked on this. It is called Proliferation, okay. It's a game about nuclear strategy, okay, and where you're going to be playing different countries and you're going to sit down with a bunch of people and try to nuke each other or out economic point everybody. So we're going to go down. I'm not going to explain everything. I'm going to give you a good overview so you feel how this is, and then we'll come back on the other side and we'll talk more about Proliferation. So I'm not going to tell you all the rules with this, but I'm going to explain as much as I possibly can. There's going to be certain phases that you're going to do, and you're going to elect a speaker, which is going to be basically your first player. What you're going to do is you're going to be picking different nations, and I'm sorry for the moving of the camera, but I really have to kind of do this way because it's the best way to do it, and that's with the moving camera. So, you know, you could be North Korea, which is crazy, Russia, our good friends the Brits, Israel, France, India, Pakistan, anybody that really is a nuclear power, and of course the United States. You're going to have certain objectives. Either you're the last one standing and you nuke somebody 5 times and knock them out of the game, or economic points, you have to total 100 economic points for the United States, and your infrastructure is oil. Okay, if you meet those two conditions at the beginning of a phase, then you are going to be considered the winner. You're going to have an infrastructure that's going to generate your economic points, okay? And as you can see, the United States starts with 35 that you can spend. The phases start with the event. There's always an event card that can really knock things a little crazy, I'm sorry. Like this one here, disaster. An explosion occurs at a nuclear power plant. The the United States loses 7 economic points. That could be devastating because when you are planning what you're going to do, you are going to basically, you know, decide on how many points you are going to spend, because you're going to have this little thing here. This is your lives. If you get nuked 5 times, that's gonna knock you out. As you can see, also here you have your starting GDP, okay, your country, and then you're going to be, you know, totaling everything until somebody wins at that phase. Now, you are going to go through the different phases here. And during the phases, there's a consolidation phase. There's a proliferation phase, which is the name of the game anyways. An open floor thing where you can trade and do things like that. A collection phase, a summit phase where you're going to meet and make some decisions. And then you go back to the top of your turn, which is the event phase. Now, each phase is going to do different things. The consolidation phase this is where you're going to be consolidating power and seeing if you have a winning condition. Okay, you know, you're going to have all kinds of different things that are going to happen during that phase. Proliferation phase, which is the name of the game, you're going to have a chance to buy some of these nukes, and if you have any nukes, this is the phase where you are going to reveal all the nukes. You don't know what these are, okay? You're going to turn over and maybe it's a blank or something, because you could write in stuff, which is kind of cool. But you'll have like Ivy Mike. He's going to give you 3 tokens of nuclear winter. Now, nuclear winter is going to do some things. We'll talk about that in a minute. But there are different conditions that there may be duds in there. There may be all kinds of different things in there. Your policy phase. This is where you're going to be purchasing cards, okay? Because you're going to want to build up your infrastructure, and also you can build up these mission cards. Now, the infrastructure, you are going to be you know, you're going to be pulling in, and you are going to be adding, because at the beginning of your turn, you're going to be getting more and more of those economic points. By spending economic points, you are going to yield certain things like gold, medical supplies, financing. There's public transit, you know, that'll generate things. And as you buy more of those cards, you are going to raise up your economic points, okay? You can also buy missions and trade agreements or nukes if you can afford them. Defense systems that if somebody tries to nuke you, okay, basically you can have one of these cards that will help you fight back. All right, but they cost a lot to get those defense systems going. All right. Then you're going to have collection and phases where you're going to deal with sanctions and stuff like that, because there are other things that are going to happen. And summits where you're going to impose some sanctions and things like that. You're going to try to stop other players from becoming more powerful and stuff like that. Now, the thing about this is each player is trying to do this same thing. And this does have a thing where basically, you know, a bunch of players, if they decide, they can team up against one player and really kind of make the game not too much fun for that one player. That's one of the things that kind of gets me a little bit about this. As you collect these things, okay, all right, and you have a certain amount of things in front of you, such as if you're the United States and you have gold and medical supplies and somebody decides to nuke you and you are in a nuclear winter, until you can clear that nuclear winter, you're going to have to flip over those extra things that you have, okay? And you have to clear this before you can start, you know, building those resources again, which means that you're only going to be able to use your starting resources here, okay? There are different things, different powers that you're going to have depending on which country you are. As you can see, France only starts with 20 EP, and every country generates 3 at least. But there's different consolidating power events that will cause the game to end for each and every different country. You know, China starts with 27 points, but all they need to do is get a total economic power of 150 and they're going to win. They can nullify any event draw. Okay, they can only use that power once. So you have different powers that you're going to use depending on what country you play. You're going to be rolling some dice also in here, because when you get sanctions, and some cards are going to have some things that you're going to roll for that make it a little bit of random. So it's just not you just get messed up. There are things that you can roll and hopefully get something good out of it and probably prevent somebody from causing all kinds of things. There are different trade agreements that are going to, you know, you can now buy, you know, like this one here, you can it'll cost 5 for a nuclear pack, which means that you can purchase one nuke for exactly 5 EP, which can help you. All right, because sometimes when somebody starts getting ahead too much, you're going to want to nuke them. And anybody that gets nuked 5 times and loses 5 lives, well, guess what? That's going to be it for them. They're going to be out of the game, and the rest of the people will keep on playing until there is an exact winner or one person standing. So let's go up top and talk about this a bit and get on out of here. Now, this is a game that funded on Kickstarter. And I guess it did pretty well. So you guys know I'm very honest with you. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of. I would like to see a solo variant for this. I started working on something and started coming up with something, but I didn't want to show you here. So maybe I'll do a live play and do that, because I think this has the potential to kind of take away some of that mechanism. It's a strong point of the game, but if everybody gangs up on one person, it doesn't make the game much fun for everybody. You know, especially if you're one of the superpowers, you know, if you're China or the United States, you know, and you're playing, you get dealt maybe, you know, because one of the things that you want to do is you don't want to basically just say, well, I'm going to be the United States. You want to kind of randomly deal these things out. And if you're like France and Israel and you know, India or something like that, and you're facing one of the major superpowers, well, you're going to talk with each other and you say, well, let's pile on this guy and knock this guy silly and nuke him to, you know, high heaven. Because there is no real consequence for nuking somebody, which I think would make it a little bit better, because if you're just flying nukes all over the place, well, I mean, boy, that's really not realistic, but it is kind of fun to nuke somebody, okay? The cool thing about the nukes is if you go and buy a nuke, there's something that can happen that can, you know, you can get a nuke that'll blow up on you, or it's a dud or something. So you spend those economic points, which really could hurt you. You know, this is, you know, for me, my only problem is that when you pile on somebody, it doesn't become fun for somebody. And once somebody's knocked out of the game, it's kind of, you know, they're kind of finished, from the way I take it. But you know, I played it. It's interesting. It has a lot of interesting things about it, and it really stands out. Now, like I said, you know, this was sent to me, but I have to be honest with you. Okay, is this up my alley? It could be. I think if it had a solo variant, I think I would like this a heck of a lot more. It's I don't like the. What I don't like is that it could very well turn out that you can, you know, start sanctioning somebody. You could really make the game unfun for somebody. Where I would like to see where there's more randomness and go, oh yeah, okay, now you marked me and you failed at something. Oh no. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to get you and you and you know, and have it where, you know, you could fight back a little bit, because I think, you know, when they start piling on you, there's no real way to fight back. And boy, if you get knocked down to only bringing in 3 EPs, that's not going to get you going. You got to get rid of those nuclear winters, which is hard. And there's a lot going on here that's very, very interesting. It really is. But you know, this is something that you got to decide for yourself if this is for you. I think it's different. You could play up to 9 players, which is just ridiculous. And I can imagine what that game would be like. But Proliferation, the game of nuclear strategy. Definitely check it out. Go to their website, which is WarGames, or just put in Proliferation, and it will come up. And check it out, because one of the things that I really would like to get for this, because I want to keep this and I want to mess with this, because there's something about it that draws me to it. And I want to get the mat for it, because the mat really helps you out a lot. And where you can keep that. Like I said, when you lay out those cards, that's in the center of the table there. And everything works from there, and I think it's just a little bit more thematic with the thing, instead of laying all the cards out on the table. But it works, and it's definitely different, and I like different. Okay, so definitely check this out. You might see what I'm saying. Okay, so definitely check this out. So until next time, it's your old pal Rob. We'll see you soon, everybody.